Hello and welcome to the Apex Racing League GT Championship live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me for this round of the championship is Adam Hedgecock with Alex Simpson and Andrew Woodhouse in the background scenes operating the cameras and bringing this stream to you. We're here for the opening round of season 2 of the championship. 8 rounds of this series are coming up, the 16 races. And Adam, it should be a pretty great one. We really enjoyed broadcasting this series last season. We've got a lot of familiar names, and we've also got a lot of new names as well. It should be a really tight one.
Season 1 was brilliant, wasn't it? We saw some amazing racing from start to finish all throughout the season, and I was genuinely sad when the season finished. I was not looking forward to the wait between the seasons, but we're back already. It's flown by, and we're back on track at Silverstone. We had some great racing here last time out, and as you say, we've got a lot of new guys who they're not showing too badly in qualifying so far. I think we should be in for another stonking season.
Absolutely. I'd also like to bring in Adam's notepad. Don't know if we could get a little bit of a.
There we go. Fresh notepad for this season, Sam. All
Oh,
primed and ready to go.
lovely, lovely. I'm looking forward to that more than anything else, to be honest. Of course, we are going to need to write in a new race winner for this race one in about 25 minutes time, because the race one is 25 minutes long. The drivers are currently in a qualifying session. 10 minutes in length is this qualifying. The drivers can set 4 lap times and across such a long lap around this Silverstone GP circuit that shouldn't be able to get in all those 4 laps. I imagine they're going to get in 3 at the absolute most. We are halfway through this session at the moment. We visited this place pretty recently, Adam. In these cars, of course, I believe it was for round 5 of the championship last season, which was only a couple of months ago. I wonder if that's going to prove to be a slight advantage to the drivers who took part last season compared to the drivers who are new to the series.
It could do. I think the biggest challenge for the new guys is understanding how the racing is done here. It's very, it's almost gentlemanly like. They're very considerate of each other, but they will leave you just enough room, and they will race you hard enough so that you have to work for your positions. I think that could be a little bit of a wake-up call for some of them. But yeah, you look at the qualifying already, and we see some familiar names at the top. But of course, we've got new guys, as we were saying before, getting mixed in with that as well. As long as the standards remain as they were last season, I don't think that these new guys are going to have any problems fitting in at all. Yeah, we'll soon find out, won't we? 4 minutes to go in qualifying. We'll soon see how mixed up this grid is.
Yeah, it's certainly looking a little bit crazy at the moment, but Tom McMahon was fastest in practice by about 3.5 tenths of a second. He's currently got a 1/10 of a second over Daniel Lee. Daniel Lee, remember, an amateur driver last season. Only a few months ago, he had iRacing was less than 2k. Even now, I think it's only about 3k, which is less than mine. And safe to say, Daniel Lee is far superior driver to myself. So he's up there in second place. Or just add as well the classes that we've got. So you can see the purple stripe that indicates a pro driver. The blue stripe indicates an amateur driver. So just keep that in mind as well. Currently, Chambers top of that class, another rookie to this series. We're currently watching along McMahon in that Porsche. It was a last minute change for him and James Stolt. They changed really late on from the Ford and then to the Ferrari and then to the Porsche, all in the space of about 2 days. But you wouldn't know it because they really seem to be at home at the moment in the 911. This is McMahon's second or third lap so far in this session, third lap, as he approaches Vale Chicane. This is potentially the driver's best lap, this third lap, where the tyres are in their optimum temperature settings and also won't have worn off too much either. McMahon crosses the line and he can't improve, so it is possible for the others to perhaps get a little bit closer.
You're right, isn't it? Lap 3 is going to be the sweet spot for these guys. You see Edwards take pole provisionally at the moment with a 1:55.9. Good lap time from Edwards. We saw, but Edwards and McMahon were frighteningly quick last season. McMahon, I'm surprised he's switched from the Ford. He looked brilliant in that, didn't he? The last couple of rounds of last season. So I'm surprised that he's changed. Lee, no surprises that he's up there. He was a very competitive amateur last season, wasn't he? Mixing it with the big boys more often than not. And Eifenberg and Visa Kopsika, remember seeing those guys at Spa, I think it was, working particularly well together. So yeah, they're back on the right foot straight away. Madsen as well. We've seen Madsen in a few series in the GTE. So yeah, interested to see what he could do. Can I just say, by the way, Sam, how glad I am that all of the teams have taken to using spec maps, or apparently all of the teams have taken to using spec maps. The cars look beautiful. I can't wait to explore some of them with you over the season.
Absolutely. That reminds me, I should also load up Trading Paints. So I can see them. But that is now whirring by. So for the race, I will have those liveries up, and I'm sure they are up there for you viewers, which is the most important thing. But no, the guys really do a fantastic job. Looking forward to seeing the Indy Autosports livery. Of course, that was a big favourite of Adam last season. Not quite sure how they're looking this season, but I've heard some pretty good things from them so far. John Gordon, by the way, just goes into 24th. James Saltz is looking very good on his lap. He's currently in 17th, so should be a lot higher than that. I think this might be good enough for a top 10 for James Saltz. He's just crossing that. No, it's only good enough for 16th. Must have ruined the final sector because, yeah, 4 personal bets leading up to that. Taj Edwards on pole position. He took pole position a few minutes ago. And Taj Edwards, I don't think has ever taken a pole position in this series. But as the 10 minutes tick down, that is what we have here. So, the grid for round 1 of season 2 of the Apex Racing League GT Championship. It is Taj Edwards for Gold Racing Team on pole position. The driver who failed to win a race as well last season. He was widely considered the best driver not to win a race last season. He's putting himself in a great chance here. Tom McMahon, former British GT champion, lines up in second place. Daniel Lee, terrific qualifying for him in third. Then it's Dennis Eichenberg, Mike Viter-Kopsa-Kier, all drivers, that top 5 drivers from last season. Then it's the first of the debutants, Nick Madsen. Matty Chambers is top of the amateur drivers. Then it's James Holman, Andrew Becker, Aaron Powell, Daniel Sivi Sabo, Jeffrey Garzotze in 12th place, Jensen Adrianson, Max Wolf, John Derrick, James Salt, watch out for Salt actually from 16th, Mike Horder, very competitive driver there, Adrian Campfield, Wayne Douglas, Lucas Euler, Mark Johnston, Nick Rowland will be very dangerous from 22nd. So too will Bob Humphrey actually, and John Gordon and Stephen Broomfield. Those drivers should be way further up. Instead, they're outside the top 20. Then it's Dean Powell, Kevin Kittelman, Kev Copeland, Tom Stevens, Luke Kidsley, Derek Holland, J.M. Cormier, John Chessida, Joseph Saul, Carl Jacquelet, Ryan Jones, Craig Jones, Andre McCullen, and David Nichols. Hopefully, we'll have Brandon Warren and Nathan Davies take the start, but I'm not quite sure if that is going to be the case as we see the Mustang pace car, the best pace car from at the front of the field. But how about that for Edwards, Adam? I mean, like I said, he's never got a pole position in this series before. And here he is, first round of the championship against possibly the best field we've ever had in this series, and he puts it to the top, does the Jamaican.
He did look great last season. A little bit hit and miss to start with, but once he found his stride, he was absolutely brilliant. I've just checked my notes. I do have my old sheets from last season, and you're absolutely right. He has not taken a pole before, so brilliant for Edwards. We know how quick he can be. We'll just have to see if he can keep the likes of McMahon and Lee and Eichenberg behind. They're going to be a tough trio chasing him down.
So Warren did take the grid, by the way. David Nichols did not take the grid, so it should be a 40-car field then. The start of this season. Hopefully, it starts a little bit better than last season. We had a crash before the lights even went out. But from pole position, then it's Gold Racing Team versus Evo SR. It's Edwards versus McMahon. Race 1 of the Apex Racing League GT Championship Season 2 is underway, and Edwards pulls away straight away. Powell a little bit off the circuit, a little bit further down. Good start for Eichenberg to get past Lee. That's for third position, and Lee has to back out of that one. Vice Kopska and Madsen pretty close to one another. Also will start for Adrianson. He's gone off the circuit straight away as McMahon is trying to go for the lead here. Round the outside of Edwards, he'll have the inside for the hairpin. This would be a mighty move from the driver who started in second place, and McMahon straight away takes the lead off his Porsche compatriot and pulls a little bit of a gap as well, moving on to the Wellington Straight for the first time. There's quite a divide in the field actually between 10th and 11th place. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. James Salt as well is off the circuit and into the wall with Salt after a pretty good start. Him and Adrian Campfield, I think, have got together.
Brilliant start from Edwards, or so it seemed. McMahon, opportunistic or what, throwing one up the inside of the hairpin, managing to keep it in front going down that back straight, which is incredibly hard to do if the car behind's got some draft. But what a move! That was outstanding. Just a couple of crashes that you noted. We did see a couple of cars get off the track, one into the pit wall. Interestingly enough, I didn't catch who that was, but just over the start-finish line, there was a car that nosedived into the inside wall. So maybe some contact coming out of the last corner there as they all started their race in earnest.
I think that must have been Adrianson. That's the only car that I can imagine. He was straight away dropping places. Was Jensen. He's down into 29th place. Is the debutante. Adrian Campfield as well dropping down. Anyone who was towed back to the pits? I don't think so, otherwise they would be at the top of our screen. Lee is trying to get back up into third place, past Eifenberg. Eifenberg runs a little bit wide, and now Madsen is right onto the back of these guys. What can Madsen do around the outside of Lee? Has he been able to make that move? They are side by side at the moment for fourth position, and Madsen just with the advantage, seemingly. So that is a big move there from Nick Madsen to move up into fourth position at the start of this race. Lee drops down into fifth. Barca Kopsika as well with a little bit of a struggling start in eighth. However, it's pretty close with him now and Aaron Powell. As McMahon is really pulling away at the moment, isn't he? The gap staying at 4/10 of a second.
Very true. I don't think Edwards is the kind of driver to let pressure or the thought of a driver getting away from him really get to him. We've seen him quite a few times, haven't we? Just tuck up behind a car and just play the waiting game, which is, it seems that's what he's doing at the moment. Just waiting for him to prove me wrong, is making a late lunge, but he doesn't. No, I think he's going to be quite happy just tucked up behind. Surprised that Visa Kopsika had such a bad start. Wonder if the good old-fashioned freight train that we see in many of the other series that we cover just caught him out a little bit. Maybe got passed by one or two, and that was it. The 3 or 4 behind then decided to follow through as well. Lee putting in a good show. The former AM is really on the coattails of Madsen in front. Madsen just losing touch a little bit from the front three. We can see a little gap just forming up behind them now, can't we?
Apparently Powell has dropped down. Not sure which Powell that is, but the Aaron variety. Aaron Powell it was then. Adrian Campfield I think has dropped down, and also James Stott has had another off with Carl Jacquelet. Dear me.
We discussed this before we went live, Sam.
We really did. At least I got Vita Kopsika and Broomfield down to a T at the moment. But that one, struggling a bit. I recall when I was calling Tom McMahon when he first joined the series. I was very confused on that front. This is what happened then to, is it Salts? A little bit of contact there, and then spinning round as well. That was Powell, in fact, apologies. And he's right in the middle of the circuit, and everyone did well to avoid him, I think. And then Powell got out of the middle of the track. So that was all rather fortunate. Bust up the race goes to Dennis Eichenberg on that tour round. They're massively chopped. Matty Chambers now is a 3-car train. And representing 2 different teams, remember, Gold Racing Team in 2nd and 3rd. John Derek has had an off as well. Started up in the top 20, I think, did Derek, but he's still in 19th, apparently. So that's not too bad for Derek.
Yeah, he's doing all right, isn't he? One of the new guys to the series. Just a little check down to see how the other new guys are doing. Douglas running 12th. There's a name that I don't recognise. Holman as well in 5th. I don't think we've seen Holman before in this series. Mike Corder, the current GT3 AM Championship for the ARL GT, stepping up to the pro ranks in the GTE. It's good to see him. Of course, know him particularly well, and good to see he's going well at the moment. Who else have we got that we haven't seen before? Euler in 17th, Sidney Zabo in 20th. both putting in some good times and good effort at the moment to be in the top 20. This is a very competitive field, as we've said right at the start. When you look at people like Joseph Soul, for example, who's way down in 25th, it just shows how competitive this field is in this new season.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely a terrific field out here. And yeah, should be a really good season coming up. Becker is dropping down. He's gone for a dive, and tennis fans will appreciate that one. Anyway, Andrew
Let's not
Becker.
do these again. I remember the Juice one for Team 4040. That still haunts me.
Oh, that was a genius, wasn't it? There were a few others
It was
I
something.
came up with. Certainly netted a winner there. Carrying on 1 week later, written them all down, all the possible puns from that. Alex Simpson just letting us know that we have a commentator on reserve. I will add 2 commentators on reserve, so I mean, yeah, we'll have to watch that one. Meanwhile, we go back up to the front. Edwards now 7/10 of a second behind, but Eichenberg with another fast lap of the race. On that last lap, the top 3, all their lap times were separated by 1/100th of a second. Remarkably evenly matched were the 3 of them. As we ride on board a little bit with Eichenberg, but it's not the easiest circuit in the world to overtake. Round is this. Because Eichenberg did win 1 race last season. That's Nürburgring race 1. I think he may have won another one, actually. Thinking about it as well at Le Mans. So, no, very successful driver, and he's looking for another race win here as well. A little bit further down, Garzotti and Lee are very close to one. Lee now down 6 places, and this is something that we saw last season as well, Adam. Lee is terrific in qualifying, but he struggles to back it up in the race.
Yeah, I think, was it Sebring was the first time we really saw him. He put it on, or he had it on pole position in race 2, I think. And he made a couple of unforced errors, which really put paid to any charge that he was making. I don't know whether it's just the bigger fields maybe that he struggles with, but maybe he can turn it round. Be interesting to see how he goes down to 13th now, of course, and with the reverse grid wheel as well, Sam. He's always another chance of getting a small one and being right back at the front again.
Yeah, definitely. I think Lee must have dropped a few more places down this lap because he was with Garzotti just before, and he's had enough maybe at Chapel or Stowe. Maybe getting a slow down, that's quite possible, and he's down into 13th now. But we do have a reverse grid of 13, so just for clarification, after this race is complete, we'll spin the Wheel of Fortune reverse grid wheel, and it will come up with a number, and we will reverse the grid by that amount of places. Oh, as the 235 car is round Mike Horder moving past. Who was that? That was Daniel Lee trying to get past, in fact, now, past Wayne Douglas, I think that was. Bob Humphrey a little bit slow as well, the Gold Racing Team driver of John Gordon, storming past these drivers. Gordon, who started way further down than he ought to have done, way behind his teammates, who he's usually on par with. He's not having this his own way as he gets spun round now, and Humphrey moves past. Shame for John Gordon, he's made up so many places so far in this race, but he's now down into 18th position, and also dropping behind Johnston right there.
There's a couple of incidents there. Let's see what happened now. I wonder if he just got pinched a little bit on the right-hander coming up now. We went off the track a little bit. Oh, just a little bit of a touch at the rear. So easily done there. So he's done as many lines around that turn, and it seemed that both of them wanted to take the same one, which is a real shame because at that time he was up 12 positions, our biggest mover at that time. Incidentally, Bob Humphrey is up 10 and Stephen Broomfield up 10, our biggest movers so far. Who's our biggest loser? That's a bad term, I don't really want to use it. Who's lost the most places? I think it is Aaron Powell. James Salter's lost 22. Excluding the guys who had the incidents at the beginning. Yeah, I think it could be Aaron Powell with 11.
Yes. Yeah, quite a few places lost for Powell. Also Campfield as well, down 11 places. Adrianson, who I think spun into the pit wall at the start of the race, also down a few places. Here is That's it. That is Becker behind Lee, who's going very slowly in his Ferrari. He was taking a very unusual line down the pit straight. However, he has been able to stay in that place as the Gold Racing Team driver as well of no, it was Broomfield, trying to make up a place. I don't think Broomfield actually made up any in the end, but Lee really struggling. We've also got Madsen fighting hard with a Wolf, I think, just further up. But this is Madsen and Gazzotto really going side by side in the Porsches, and they've got Porter catching up to them. This is the battle for the final spots in the top eight.
They've got a 3.3 second gap back to Douglas behind. But the last thing these guys want to be doing is battling too hard. They've already got a gap in front of them. The more they battle, the more time they're going to lose out to that group in front. Porter sitting just behind them. He's just going to be licking his lips, thinking, "Yeah, you boys have a battle. I'll pick up the pieces." But yeah, we saw this a lot last season, didn't we? Where the pack almost got segregated into lots of small little groups, and because they were so intent on fighting. They never really gained anything. We'd always find that towards the end of the race they'd all come back together again, like an accordion. They'd all come back because they were just so intent on being that one car at the front of their own little pack.
McMahon out in the lead, by the way, 0.4 of a second ahead still of Taj Edwards on this lap. I assume this will be a 56 for McMahon, 56.57, and Taj Edwards does a 56.48, 1/10 of a second faster than Eichenberg, another 100th of a second faster, another personal best for Eichenberg. So absolutely flying along. Daniel Lee's come into the pits for some kind of reason, so that just makes this day even worse for Daniel Lee. He'll be hoping for a massive reverse grid. But he will lose plenty of time. He's probably going to come out outside the top 30, I imagine, is Daniel Lee. So he must have picked up a penalty of some kind. As we did see Nick Rowland coming for a stop-go last season around this circuit when he picked up a slowdown and failed to serve it within the allotted time. I wonder if Lee has done that similar thing out there. And he is actually stationed now in his pit stall. Is there any chance? What will Edwards' attitude be here? Do you think he cares about the fact that he hasn't won a race so far? We've spoken about it a lot, but the two guys around him have both won races. Vasikowska, to be fair, hasn't won a race, but Edwards is the only one out of this top three who haven't won a race in this series. Do you think that'll matter for him? Do you think he's got anything to prove to everyone?
Oh, Sam, I really wish you wouldn't do this to me. Le Mans
Look
race
in your
2.
notepad.
Taj Edwards won race 2 at Le Mans last season.
Oh no!
According to the notepad. Sam, I was really hoping you wasn't gonna do, because you know I've got all this stuff written down. No, he is a race winner. He knows what to do to win the races. He also knows what to do to just keep the pressure on. We saw from those lap times previously that Eichenberg's happy sitting behind his teammate. He's got no threat from behind. So all Edward needs to do is just keep McMahon honest. Keep putting those lap times in. He was a 10th quicker on the last laps. And McMahon knows that he's not going to get away, which just adds to the pressure. We know McMahon is pretty cool when it comes to that kind of thing, but after a while, when you keep seeing that car in your mirror over and over again as McMahon goes a 10th quicker that time by, when you see that car behind it, it's not disappearing, it's not getting any further away. You have to really dial down and knuckle down and get those laps in. And for McMahon, it's a question now whether he can do that or not.
How many races did Eichenberg win last season? Did he win race 1 at Le Mans?
Race 1 at Le Mans, yeah. Eichenberg also won...
Oh yeah, he also won at Nürburgring.
Yeah, Nürburgring race 1.
Oh, yeah.
McMahon won race 1 at Spa.
And yeah,
so they're all race winners. So they all know what to, or how to go about it. So just makes it even more interesting, doesn't it?
Definitely. Here is Broomfield right in the mix of things. He's behind rookie Euler, who knocked up his fakes massively there. That was quite unusual for Euler, but didn't seem to slow him down at all, to be fair. Broomfield just ahead of his teammates, John Gordon. And just for reference, these guys are usually similar pace to their teammates Edwards and Eichenberg. Shows how strong a team Gold Racing team is, and I'm really looking forward to. Or Douglas is dropping down. There he is in the light blue car, and he has gone off at a very unusual spot. We've also got side by side with the Gold Racing Team drivers. I think Gordon has been able to hold off Broomfield on that occasion. It'd be great to get a replay of what on earth happened to Wayne Douglas, who'd been quietly moving his way up through the order, but is now on the outskirts of the top 20. Here we go. This is with Madsen, I think. Yeah. No, it's not Madsen. It's Horder.
Oh, I dipped the outside wheels onto the grass. Not what you want to be doing when you're approaching Copse Corner, because well, I don't know the speeds that these cars do, but it's a fast corner in any car. So dipping your wheel on the outside is pretty dangerous indeed.
Eichenberg jumping a little bit behind these guys now. Edwards perhaps knowing that this is a time to pass. He's still got time. Does Barrage Edwards to take this race? We saw a similar race to this last season actually. I think it was Andre, I believe, or someone who was leading race 2 for pretty much the entire race and only was just ahead. Look at the drive there from Edwards, being able to go a lot more speed. McMahon perhaps squaring off the corner, but that was very risky. Almost making contact with the two of them. Eichenberg really has had the gauntlet put down to him. He needs to try to catch up to these drivers, and Edwards looking really confident at the moment. Just a little bit of reminders where you might see the drivers occasionally go off the circuit, and for every 10 incidents these guys get, they get 3 penalty points. Remember, it might even be more than that this season. I can't remember. 5, I think it's 5 penalty points now, because we changed the point scoring system, and it's 60 points for a race win. So if you get 10 incidents, then that's quite a hemorrhage into your points winning, and also the top 40 get points in this championship. So at the moment, everyone would be getting points, and you also need to finish within 2 laps of the race leader to score points as well. So it certainly is worth keeping it within the white lines.
Just a note on a couple of drivers who we had a discussion about, well, the team especially, in the pre-season. Kev Copeland and Joseph Sol, racing for the B team. They are buzzing around in 21st and 25th respectively. There was, I'm getting sighs in my ears, I apologise, but there was a whole conversation about these guys in the lead up to the series. We see Euler getting really slow out of that last chicane, wasn't he? Almost getting a bump to get him going again from Broomfield, who's got Gordon tucked right up behind him. Can I just say as well, by the way, how much I'm enjoying the Gold Racing Team BMW liveries, the way that they've chromed out their GRT on the side is beautiful. As Euler locks up again, he's done that a couple of times now, hasn't he? I'm just wondering if he's overheated the tyres maybe just a little bit, causing the lockups. That's 2. That one wasn't as big as the first, but that's 2 now in a couple of laps.
Yeah, now this is a Broomfield's opportunity. It's a wide straight here, and he gets his car down the inside. The Porsche doesn't bend it off too much. The Porsche, as long as he stays around the outside here, Yuli will have the inside for Luffield, but he hasn't been able to do that. And it's Broomfield up into 12th place, so he managed to get past Gordon. Now he's got past Euler as well. Here comes Gordon trying to do the same thing. However, Euler being able to fend him off. Johnston as well, he was seen in the ARL TC Championship in the past. He's right with these guys along with the amateur driver Becker. As there goes Gordon down into Copse Corner. He might be run a little bit wide. Contact between third and off. That was a very strange reaction from John Gordon's car. I think iRacing needs to take responsibility for that, because that looked like a traditional quarter panel. He got sent the completely the wrong one.
Yeah, it did look an odd one, didn't it? I thought they were being brave, going side by side through Copse. That's very reliant on the car on the inside not to drift out into you. They managed to get round it reasonably okay, and then just that contact at the end there was unfortunate to say the least. 5.5 minutes remaining, Sam. We're almost at the end of race 1 already. That's flown by. That shows once again the great racing we have in this league, how quickly time goes. Who's this having a battle? Becker trying to defend, but Johnston having none of it, was he? You take the inside, son, I don't mind, I'll go around the outside of you.
Yeah, that is something that we'd usually see from the AOLTC, but Johnston doing it in the GTE cars as well. That was a terrific move there from the Irishman. And he's looking really quick right now. Although back again comes Becker. That was a vicious move for Becker. I think he realised that it was going to be too late anyway and screeched on the brakes. And once again, kind of having a half look into the second chicane. But yeah, great battling all the way through this race from about 10th place down to 20th place. All these guys have been very close throughout. As Becker just losing the rear end slightly. Commands a lot of the car with the downforce, does this cycle particularly into that Brooklands corner. Also just behind, I just want to get a glimpse of Kevin Kitzel, who I think is racing with Aaron Powell, who may have just got past him as well, Powell. Or Kitzelman a little bit slow after that one. I think it was close before, I'm not sure. As Powell in fact has got past Wayne Douglas. It's Douglas off the track. Well, Douglas has certainly lost that place anyway. Now into 18th place now. This guy who was running as high as 11th earlier.
Yeah, another place lost at Cops for Douglas. Just a shame to see Kittleman's car. I was really hoping we'd see the white with the red stripe again, but they've gone for white and blue this season. So that's a shame. We did see, by the way, that McMahon had pulled nearly half a second gap on Edwards, who's just closed up a little bit again. Eichenberg's struggling to keep with these guys now. We can see from the lap times he's a couple of tenths at least off their pace. Edwards still buzzing around the back, isn't he? Still filling the mirrors of McMahon. Just not even asking the question, just letting him know that he's there, letting him know that I've got this great drive. I can pull out of the corner pretty well, and you're going to have to deal with it.
Remarkable how many Porsches we've got in this series. Anyone who watches the Aussie Mixed and Fixed GT Championship, I do a lot of commentary for that series, and we have an incredible amount of BMWs. We have 3 BMWs on the grid. 3. There's not even, there's 2 in the top 25. And that was meant to be the most popular car. It's always been the most popular car since it was released like a year ago. There's barely any of them. Obviously no Fords. There's never any Fords. Ford are doing a mighty job in 10th place with the Ford. But a few Ferraris as well. But the Porsche really popular, which is something that I haven't seen in any other leagues personally. This is looking quite tasty. Now this is a Holman who's been caught by Wolf. And Mads on the last lap was 1 second faster than Holman. He must have made a mistake. Holman, another T3 driver who is a team we've only recently seen emerge on iRacing, and they do seem very competitive with them and the Dempsey brothers and a couple of others. Bauer as well is a very solid driver, but he's been caught at the moment by Wolf and Madsen.
Madsen, we know, is a quick driver. We've seen him in other leagues. Whatever he gets into, he's very much in the Lewis Bibby kind of realm, where it doesn't matter what he gets into, you know he's going to be pushing as hard as he can and getting some pretty decent results. And we know that he won't want to be sitting behind this two for very long, getting himself as far forward as he possibly can. But they do have a significant gap to the guys in front, another 3 seconds up to Holman up ahead. So with just under 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes to go, I think this battle between this trio is all about them. They're not have to worry about the cars behind. You can see just from that shot there how far back. Oh, Wolf throwing it up the inside. That was from a long way back. Well, I was just saying how far back the group behind were. He threw it in from another postcode.
Remarkable there from Max Wolf to go up into 6th position, as near the front it's properly hotting up the final lap of the race. Who's going to end up on the top step of the podium? Remember, McMahon only won 1 race last season. It was an incredibly frustrating season. He was incredibly frustrated as he has disappeared. Now, Tom, don't play this on us. He has reappeared again. And if anything, that was down the straight. It's prevented the draft for Edwards, and also should put Edwards a little bit off his stride, as the gap goes back up to 3.5 tenths of a second. I don't think Edwards is going to have enough on the run down to Stowe. He's taking as little or as much curb through Chapel as possible, trying to shorten the distance. But McMahon is just too quick, and that move that he made on the first couple of corners of this race has seemingly proven important. Edwards once again closes in. He's going to be within passing range for Vale. A little bit of a slide though, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit of the bubbly for Tom McMahon as he rounds Vale and into Club. And it's going to be taking the spoils for the first time in Season 2. Tom McMahon for EBSR wins race 1 at Silverstone. Edwards finishes in second, Eichenberg in third, and a terrific performance there from Matty Chambers to finish in fourth place, top of the amateur drivers. Beister Kopsika finishes in fifth, and Max Wolf in sixth place. There was a little bit of contact, I think, with Madsen and Holman right at the end. You can see how they were a long way behind beforehand, or a long way ahead beforehand, and they ended up only just ahead of Garzotto. It might be worth getting a replay of that one a little bit in a few moments' time. Like I said, Alan, it was such a frustrating season for Tom McMahon. Everything seemed to go against him last season, but to start off this championship with a race win will really give him that a big boost of confidence.
Oh, absolutely, it will. We saw how frustrated he got. He ended up taking 1 or 2 weeks off, didn't he? And then he came back in the Ford and just found the racing fun again, and straight away he was competitive in that. So yeah, brilliant, brilliant for McMahon to get off on the right foot this season. I'm sure that's the tonic that he needed after a frustrating run out last time. And again, we see Edwards and Eipenberg strong last season, strong again, finishing out your podium today. That's yeah, promising stuff for the season for all of them.
Definitely. So we've just got a few more drivers. In fact, we're gonna have to wait a while actually, for Nathan Davies. So might just get the reverse grid wheel up potentially, to find out what the reverse grid is going to be. Have we got that ready, guys? Yes. So it should be ready, and might well be on your screen right now. So of course we'll reverse the grid by a certain amount. 13 cars is going to be the reverse. That's the smallest reverse possible. So some people, Andrew Becker, it wouldn't be the first time that a Becker has overspent. That's a bit too serious, I think, to be honest, because yeah, let's not get into financial issues. Andrew Becker then will be on pole position, and Lucas Euler will be in second position. Hopefully Becker's reign at the top won't be too short. Um, we've got a season of this to come. Tom McMahon
Jesus.
then.
Why did I sign up to do another
Sorry.
season? What have I done?
Tom McMahon wins out then for the first time this season. Taj Edwards finishes in second place. Dennis Eifenberg in third. Matty Chambers finishes top of the amateur drivers in fourth on his debut. Great result there. Mike Bicer finishes in fifth. There's Max Wolf up 8 places as well. Was Max Wolf. James Holman was in seventh, beating Nick Madsen later on. There's Jeffrey Garzotte, Bob Humphrey, Stephen Broomfield. But Humphrey and Broomfield both moving up 13 and 14 places respectively. Way too far down, but they'll be starting at the front for race 2, so they could be very dangerous. That's Euler and Becker who will be the front row of the grid for race 2. Then it's Daniel Civi Sabo, Aaron Powell, Mike Horder, Wayne Douglas, Kevin Kittelman, John Derrick, John Gordon, Nick Rowland, Luke Kidsley, Dean Powell, Joseph Saul, J.M. Cormier, Adrian Campfield, Tom Stevens, David Nichols, Derek Holland, Mark Johnston, Brandon Warren, John Chester, Carl Jacquelet, Daniel Lee, disastrous race for him, Craig Jones, Kev Copeland, Andre McCullen, Jensen Adrianson, and Ryan Jones. And in fact, Nathan Davies will score points as well because he was only 1 lap down. Was Davies? In fact, we're showing 3 minutes 20 down, which is a bit weird. But I believe he was 1 lap down. Was Davies? So that's all right for him. He will score points. So everyone will score points. Isn't that nice? James Saltz and Mick Barrett. Well, Mick Barrett didn't even take the start. So James Salt, the one retiree there. So we'll be back with you then in about 10-15 minutes time for race 2 of the Apex Racing League GT Championship. Do not miss it. Welcome back to the Apex Racing League GT Championship live on Apex Racing TV. My name's Sam Fitzpatrick, and back alongside me is Adam Hedgecock with Andrew Woodhouse and Alex Simpson, providing you with the pictures we have out here today. And we're just preparing for race 2 of the evening. In race 1, we saw a race win for Tom McMahon, and he'll be hoping to do just as well in this second race. Double the length of course, over nearly double the length, 40 minutes in length. Adam, we saw a reverse grid of 13 being decided, and yeah, that means that the top drivers from from race 1 will be starting in 11th, 12th, and 13th. Should be pretty good to see if they can get back up to the front in this race too.
Well, I'm sure they're hoping for a serious case of deja vu. You know, they can make their way back up to the podium again. But we know that the guys who finished in the top 10 in the race 1, they're no slouches. They're going to make it hard for them. They're going to do everything they can to get podiums themselves. Given the longer length of this race, they've got much more opportunity to get those passes made. But for sure, it won't be an easy job for any of them.
So the order is just gridding up at the moment, and we have got Andrew Becker on pole position. Lucas Euler starts in second. There's Stephen Broomfield, Bob Humphrey, Jeffrey Garzotte, Nick Madsen, James Holman, Max Wolf, Make Weisser Matty Chambers, Dennis Eichenberg, Taj Edwards, and of course, race 1 winner, Tom McMahon. Daniel Sivi Sabo just about missed out on the reverse grid. He starts ahead of Aaron Powell, Mike Horder, Wayne Douglas, Kevin Kipselman, John Deck, and John Gordon. That's the top 20 places for you. The rest of the order will filter through for you now. We might have one more drive on the grid. Nathan Davies once again popping into the server. Hopefully he does actually race this time, because he's due to start in 40th. James Salt as well is not taking to the grid at the moment, but we are going to pull away anyway. So it seems like we are going to have 39 drivers in that case, unless maybe Salt wants to start right at the back just to avoid any potential misdemeanors that we get. Of course, late afternoon we have for this session, so it looks quite pretty, to say the least. So Becker then, what can he do from the front? It is him versus Euler, two debutants. How is this first lap going to play out? We are about to get the second race of the season underway, and Becker puts his foot down. Broomfield with an awesome start. Euler was really slow on the even side of the grid, but fortunately for the rest of the drivers on the even side, hasn't actually been too bad a start for them. Just Broomfield getting past Euler. Also, Chambers gets him past Weisser as well, so very good start there for him. Trying to defend straight away as Euler from Humphrey, but he might be left vulnerable. Madsen as well, playing his card down the inside, trying to fend off any attacks from behind. It's too wide a long way down the order. Couple of drivers running slightly wide, and that second hairpin can often be a pinch point, but the drivers, at least in the top 10, avoiding the majority of the contact. And Max Wolf just getting past Matty Chambers, but yeah, getting into single file once again are the top 6.
Remarkably clean that start, wasn't it? We saw a lot of bunching up, a lot of too wide, but they managed to get through it seemingly unscathed. Pretty much everybody there. We see Porter going a little bit wide on the outside there. Euler was caught napping though, wasn't he? He was sound asleep as Becker put his foot to the floor and pulled away. Broomfield, delighted to be in P2, I am sure, and Humphrey, we know is he's going to be chomping at the bit to get himself a podium. Eichenberg just went off the track back there, and Wiesakowska just lost the place to Chambers.
What start for Weisser actually, isn't it? And Chambers didn't get a great start. McMahon already up into 10th. Eichenberg up into 9th. Edwards actually, he finished race 1 in second place, actually dropped a place. So not a good start for the Gold Racing Team drivers, apart from Broomfield, who of course is up into second place. Meanwhile, it looks as though Madsen is going to lose out. In fact, Humphrey, sorry, that was Madsen moving past Bob Humphrey, I believe. So of course, amateur champion last season, Humphrey. For the race lead, that is Broomfield going for it. That was an extremely late move, and well, I'm not sure the judge can pretest incidents after the race. And in fact, Broomfield's now going to let him back past. He's very slow, and he is going to let him pass. But no, he isn't going to let him pass. So it was just a very odd line. Oh, he got a car with his van. It's that that's one of the Evo SR. That's Powell, who's managed to drop it. This is the replay then of how the race lead changed hands. I think this was completely completely accidental from Broomfield. He just realised he was going to outbrake himself. And credit to Andrew Becker there. He managed to avoid that because safe to say it was an unforced error right there from Stephen Broomfield, but it has turned out to be a winner in quick succession. So Broomfield now leads this race, but terrible news well, Lee's now dropping down the order as well, but also saw that Evo SR car spin around. I think it was Powell.
I
Oh,
think
and round is second place. It's Euler. Becker, sorry. Becker is round and off the circuit. Former race leader outside the top 10.
oh, I wonder what happened. So that's a couple of incidents in quick succession for him. I want to err on the side of caution with Broomfield. We saw him last season. He was pretty impeccable with his driving standards. I think he might have just lost track of his braking point maybe and just tried to not make contact. As we see the replay here. Oh, just a little bit too much speed carried in from Becker there, and just loses the rear end. So easy to do on this track. There's many places where if you just carry that little bit too much speed, the rear end will want to overtake you, and you'll end up losing many positions like Becker did just then, down to 18th.
Holman up into 4th. Can't see too much of this from James Holman, but he is up into 4th place here. And there goes Eichenberg on Humphrey. Can Eichenberg make this one stick? Humphrey just dropping down the order. Now got McMahon as well on his tail. Edwards, by the way, has moved up into 11th place as Eichenberg crucially staying ahead of Humphrey. Remember, staying ahead of McMahon. Remember, Eichenberg finished race 1 in 3rd place, but it looks as though he had just as good pace as McMahon, and now that he's got track position, he's quite back for the race win. As it almost seems as though, sorry, that's McMahon then moving past Humphrey. So that is quite an important move. Madsen almost going for the move on Broomfield as well. Down the inside goes the Porsche Evo SR car. I think that was Chambers, but he's massively missed that one and runs very wide. Vita is out of the race apparently. He's pitching out.
13th for me. Yeah, it looked like I didn't catch who that was in the Evo SR car, but yeah, it looked like they just missed their braking point again. Run a little bit wide, going into the right-hander. Dropped a couple of places as well. We see is that Holland in the pits for some reason. He was running pretty well. He's in 25th. Is now in the pits. We see Mike Horder going past Nick Rowland. Oh, I should know the names. And we see Broomfield having to go defensive from Madsen, who's right up with him, trying to go side by side through Cops. We saw that in race 1. Pretty dangerous to do so, but he tucks back in now as we come into Maggots and Beckett's fastest corners. These are brilliant corners to go through in any car, and to really hook up a GTE or GT3 through here is amazing. And Broomfield is just hanging on by the skin of his teeth at the moment.
Yeah, just about at the moment, but Madsen is looking very quick at the moment as we go into stay for the 3rd time in this race. We might have to side as well for 3rd and 4th places with Euler and Eichenberg moving up into 3rd place, back to where he was in race 1. It's been a stunning drive so far from the Gold Racing Team driver, and he's really setting a big task off McMahon to try to keep up with him. Madsen round the outside, he's going to go wide though as Madsen is almost onto the gravel, and now we'll try to move past as well, really slowing down on the apex there, and getting held up was Holman, I think, in 4th place. Euler's dropped a few places in quick succession, and McMahon's off. McMahon dropping down the order, and we've also got the other cars well off the track. I think that was it Chambers or Euler? Yeah, it was Euler who spun it into the pit wall as well. Hopefully everyone rejoins as safely, although they only just do. That was Mike Horder going to gain a couple of places as well. But once again, the unfortunate luck for McMahon has struck again.
It has. I got very concerned there. We saw that Euler was contact.
Dear. That was Chambers. TT.
Yeah, we're seeing some silly mistakes at the moment. This is he's holding his brakes. He's doing the right thing. Maybe he should have reversed up a little bit. You see Madsen trying to get the place back from Eichenberg. We saw very quick succession there, didn't we? Some mistakes. I was grimacing just a touch as I saw cars rolling around without their brakes being held. Very dangerous, but on the most part, people seem to get through it. Eichenberg really holding Madsen up. I did wonder whether Madsen was going to try too hard to keep that position as they come through the final chicane, but just let out just in time. I think that would have been a bad move from him to try and force the position. But now he's just tucked back in behind Eipenberg.
So now it's a Gold Racing Team 1-2 in this race. 1.8 seconds between the two of them. Madsen drops back into third. Holman's still doing well in fourth. And look at Max Wolf as well. 3 places very quiet in fifth. Taj Edwards, well, he started this race, or finished race 1 in second place. We've also got Kidsley off the track, I'm seeing. He's now down to 29th place. I think he may collide with Chambers because he's also gone off the track. Big slide for Madsen. He seems very quick, but it seems like ever since that he had that little bit of an off, you remember he was trying to take the lead off Broomfield, but the last lap for Madsen, he's just lost his rhythm, seemingly.
It seems that way, doesn't it? With this new tyre model, as we see Chambers, he's not defending. He's no, sorry, that wasn't Chambers. That was Chambers making the move. There we go. We'll get there in the end. Making the move, and he pretty late, but got the move done. We see Horder now right on the coattails of Tressida. Tressida, we haven't really mentioned him. He was a good runner last season as well. Once again, we go back to the quality of the field for this season. Horder getting all over the backing, isn't he? But yeah, I was just going to say about Madsen and these tyres. This new-ish tyre model that we're on. It's very easy to overheat your tyres and to cause issues for the car. I just wonder if he just lit them up a little bit too much and he's still feeling the damage of that, a lap into it, trying to cool them back down again.
Yeah, perhaps so. It is nice and cool out on circuit though. I think it's 21 degrees track temperature at the moment, which will help with that, but you still don't want to overheat these tyres by any means, especially where the tyres are so important. Of course, around this very high-speed circuit there, it is 21 degrees air temperature, in fact 23 degrees track temperature, and it might even drop by a degree or two, 7:30 in the evening at the moment. And hopefully you are enjoying this race, and we certainly are, and it's going to be a fantastic half an hour coming up for us. Society is going to take the second race victory of this season 2 of the Apex Racing League GT Championship. Jacquelet is currently battling hard. For some sort of reason, Jacquelet has got a K in his name now. Apologies for that. I don't think his name's that. Salt though is right on his tail, and also Copeland as well in that new B team livery, which absolutely looks stunning. But no changes amongst these two.
It does look very nice indeed. Just wonder if we can have a little look at Daniel Lee, who's way down in 29th place. Just want to ask a little question for you, Sam, because I know you love these team names. Is that H2M Engineering, or is that H2 Mengineering?
It's H2 Mengineering. Yep.
Nice.
That's how it's written, isn't it?
It is.
So don't even question it. It's who was it? Who's the team?
Vib 3 Sports.
Oh yeah, Vib 3 Sports, of course. Because it's Vib 3 Sports. Nick Rowland, you can just see in the distance there. I think that's a satellite car base load. Rowland has stopped out on circuit, and out of the race now is Nick Rowland. A couple of heavy hitters out. An awful race for Rowland, who really ought to be fighting for the championship. Got many podiums last season, but without the support of his satellite teammates this season on the most part. Meanwhile, Taj Edwards is up into 6th place now. He has got past Humphrey. Garzotto trying to go with him as well, but the Jamaican slowly making his way up. But you can see the gap now. Walker, in fact, is up into 3rd place. He's managed to get past Nick Madsen. And Eipenberg might go for a move on Broomfield. We might have to quickly jump to the race lead here, because Dennis Eipenberg has taken the lead then off Stephen Broomfield. There we go, into Stowe Corner. I don't know if that was orchestrated from the two of them. You would expect that they're free to race, but he was way closer, and easily makes the move down the Hanger Straight.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there was much defence put up there. I wonder if they're on the phone to each other, just saying, "Come on, we can work together and extend this lead. We'll fight later on in the race." We saw some great teamwork from them last season, didn't we? So I just wonder if they are doing the same again this time round, just helping each other get a gap and then have a little bit of a scrap later on in the race.
Yeah, might be the wise thing to do if they do go back now. I mean, maybe, well, surely Bloomfield's going for the championship, isn't he? Surely he can't let Eichenberg have a race win.
Well, to
They're
be
so,
fair, I think they'll both be going for the championship, won't they?
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, surely they both want to finish in front of one another. Of course, our teammates as well, and arguably the favourites for the team's championship after winning it last season as well. We go back to Civi Sabo, who's done a good job. He's up 4 places, Civi Sabo. Also, John Derrick, amateur drive. Yeah, amateur driver is John Derrick. But he's doing awesome at the moment in 11th place, up 8 places from his start. And at the moment, the Jazz on the outer edges of the top 10 without great pace. Holman on that last lap was over 2 minutes long, as Holman is defending hard against Humphrey. I wonder if this is why he's going a little bit slow, as there's contact between the two of them. And off the circuit goes the Porsche. Douglas is going to be with these guys. Macy and Boy showed great pace in race 1 as well, did Douglas, but unfortunately he had a spin through a Copse corner. Probably would have denied him a second row start for race 2 had we had the reverse grid that we did, or a slowdown, I think, for Humphrey. Deary me, and that's one of the first times we've seen that today.
Yeah, when he went off at Copse, I instantly thought that was going to be a slowdown for him. You're okay if you go onto a little bit of lighter tarmac on the outside, but as soon as you venture out to the runoff area, you're going to cop yourself a slowdown at Copse. Don't ask. Yeah, unfortunately for him, that's paid to his challenge on Holman for the time being. But as we know from Humphrey, he's incredibly quick. He'll be back challenging for 6th place in no time at all. Eichenberg and Broomfield half a second apart now, but they've got a 4-second gap over Wolf behind. What a race Wolf is having. The highest of the AM drivers, currently running P3 overall, keeping a half a second gap back to Madsen, who doesn't seem to be really making the inroads that we thought he might do. And Edwards is getting ever so close to Madsen now, just over half a second back again. So it's hotting up in the top 5.
Yeah, it really is. So many drivers who are not 100% sure what their pace is like as well. So it is quite eye-opening to see how quick all these drivers are. By the way, Lucas Euler, who was running up in higher positions earlier on, down in 36th place at the moment. Of course, we had McMahon as well. He was making his way up. Those two, I believe, collided in 37th, and out of the race, seemingly, is Tom McMahon. As I say that, he's actually still running his McMahon, so that's good. He is still going in this race. He'll try to score points, at least for McMahon, if he possibly can. As here is James Holland. I'm not sure if this is a replay or not. It might just be coming up on my screen. Apologies. Apologies. No, that was a replay. I don't know how that happened. It happens to me all the time. Whenever I have to take controls from Marco, and Adam can certainly back me up on that point. But meanwhile, Nick Madsen is he's 6 tenths of a second off Max Wolf. We've also got this battle: Holman being caught by Douglas and Vice Popsica. And look at the chain of cars behind as well. I mean, at the back of this, Andrew Beckley was going very high earlier on. There goes. Holman looks like he's going to lose that place then to Douglas, and he does so down into 7th place. And I think there might be a few more places he's going to lose in the next lap or so.
Yeah, it did seem to be the cork in the bottle there, didn't he? And he's having to defend again. He's already made his one move, so he's letting the inside line go to Visa Kopsko, who just tucks him back behind him. Yeah, you kind of feel that if these guys can get past Holman, then they're going to be away and chasing down Edwards up ahead. So no discredit to Holman. He's racing particularly well. You look at the lap times up and down the field, he's not particularly slow at all, by any stretch of the imagination, but the quality of the guys behind him, we can see the gap that Douglas has got on him already, managed to pull away. I think it's only a matter of time before he loses some more position, having to go defensive behind. Visakowska having a look, trying to get to the inside, and has he got made? Oh, he's made the move. Great move there from Visakowska.
Wayne Douglas, 1.5 KI rating, which is not reflective whatsoever. I was just checking he is actually an AND, but I think that might be pretty good. Max Wolf has got an I rating of 1.7. These guys really overperforming. Madsen's dropped it. Madsen's out. He's way off the circuit. He was only just ahead of Taj Edwards previously, and he's gone off at Copse corner, it seems. So the slowdown will be the least of his worries there. He's down into 14th position as the 38 car chain for Madsen, who was running as high as second place, I believe, very early on in the race, and won't quite be the points haul that he would have wanted. But as long as he finished there, then he will still be one of the highest point scorers of today. It's so tricky to get both the two good results. Very slow there for Douglas, and Bicycopsica is going to be right on him, almost a slowdown there for Douglas, and also Civi Savo taking a lot of curb. Well, that's one way of getting an overtake done. It hasn't quite worked for him though. He slowed down on the apex. He didn't slow down enough though, and James Holman retakes that place.
He got lucky there, didn't he? He absolutely launched it going into that final chicane, using all of the curbs and then some. Very fortunate to get it under control, and fortunate not to lose a place to Humphrey, who's making a move up the inside behind. Is that Sibi Sabo taking the... sorry, that's... Yeah, Humphrey and Becker battling out behind. Wow, yeah, I still can't get... He got a lot of air, didn't he? That was amazing.
Absolutely. Becker there wombling about. As everyone in the box knows, that was pre-planned. I set that up a while ago. They say I know what I'm going to be doing for next week or so, and that is writing Boris Becker puns or any other Beckers that come to mind. John Deck, he is side by side now with Becker and Johnson. Becker, despite that good move initially, it has almost come back to haunt him, because now it's as now Becker's off the circuit, and he's hit as what did he hit? Garzotto. I'm not quite sure if he did, but he's got some rear wing damage anyway, and he will get back underway. Big shame for Andrew Becker though, who of course dropped down earlier on after starting on pole position after leading the first lap or so, and he's had another off there.
It's just two drivers not wanting to give each other that bit of room. It's a 40-minute race. Just give yourself... Oh, Garzotto got lucky there, didn't he? Yeah, neither of them wanting to concede the corner, neither of them wanting to give themselves that bit of room. It's a 40-minute race. Just, relax, chill out. You don't have to make the move right there and then. Unfortunately, that ended in tears. We're looking on board from Garzotto now. Oh, you see the... Yeah, you see the clip that he got. Oh, Garzotto is incredibly lucky now.
Didn't slow him down though. He still managed to make the move on Johnston, I think. I'm not sure actually. But it was someone he made the move on anyway. Anyway, out in the lead, Eichenberg. We're only halfway through this race, but to be honest, Gold Racing team seems to have this one locked out. It's a comfortable 1-2 at the moment that they possess. 1.5 seconds. The difference between the two of them. Eichenberg's been able to pull away. Wolf 4.5 seconds behind. A little bit slow on that last lap for Max Wolf. In fact, Taj Edwards and Make Vita in 4th and 5th. This could be a Gold Racing Team 1, 2, 3, 4, which I think we may have seen at Le Mans anyway. But once again, the team really establishing themselves well. As you can hear the rustling of the notepad to see if it was a 1, 2. I think it was a. I think it was a 1, 2, 3, 5. They got at race 1 at Le Mans, but I stand to be corrected.
Okay, well, no, you're right with that. Who was the man in 4th then? Who was the one that spoiled the party?
It was one of the Evo SR cars. How?
No.
Oh, okay. Who was it?
It was... oh no, hang on a second. No, it was... Yeah, I was... My mistake. Eichenberg, Vizikowska, Edwards, Garzotto, and then Powell in 5th.
I said 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Yeah, for some reason I didn't think Garzotto was a GRT driver last season, but he was. He was, and yeah, Powell was 5th. So yeah, it's on the cards again, isn't it?
Edwards has just got past Wolf then. So that's another place gained. And also Humphrey moves past Holman. That's for 8th place. I wonder if we could go back to battle a little bit further back. We haven't paid too much attention to the battles further down in the order. We've got a nice one with Aaron Powell currently. Also got this one. Actually, let's stick with this one. Saul, Stevens, and Gordon, because this is a few different teams being represented here. Saul leads a bit of space actually for his rival on the apex there, and that is Stevens getting ahead of Gordon. No, I think that's Gordon actually catching up to the back of Stevens, who runs a little bit wide, and Gordon's going to have a very good chance down into Brooklands.
It's a battle that we saw last season as well. Oh, that's a late lunge. My word, that is a late lunge from John Gordon. Throwing it up the inside of Tom Stevens and basically saying, well, I'm coming, what are you going to do about it? And that time round, Stevens didn't have an answer for it. I doubt that Saul would be as polite up in front, racing for the B team. I'd imagine he's got quite the sting in his tail.
Yeah, you'd imagine so, but it's good points at the moment for both.
I'm getting groaned at in my ear again. I'm not going to apologise.
Did you make a joke, Adam?
No. Just an observation.
Okay. Yeah, I won't question that. I'm sure it's very funny. Joseph saw that. Is he going to go defensive against the Joe behind of John Gordon? There goes Gordon. And yeah, it does move up into 14th place. Of course, the BMW driver, Reichenberg and Broomfield BMW, because that's how Gold Racer's team have divided their drivers. You've got the gold ones, and you've got the you've got the BMW ones, and you've got the Porsche ones. So, you know, Garzotto is in a Porsche. I think the top two are in BMWs, and of course the top two drivers from each round of the championship contribute to a team's scores. So you can kind of have a loose, a weak third member potentially. You get paid to the title win, which is very good because you need all three drivers to be on top form, because eventually one of them is going to have a bad round to keep up the points. And it's very good, but currently Eichenberg and Broomfield scoring big points for that team. There is Garzotto in his Porsche. Madsen's, by the way, back up into 12th place. So shout out to Madsen after that spin earlier on. He's done well, but he's 8 seconds behind this battle. Then it's Johnston, very close to Holman. Also, Dean Powell is in a very good battle with the other Powell, Aaron Powell. And I don't think we've ever seen this before. The two Powells who have nothing to do with one another. They're on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean between the two of them. And yet here they are, representing the same surname, trying to...
No, absolutely. I think there was a problem for Salt just a few corners behind. We saw that Aaron Powell and Daniel Lee got past to set up this Powell power off between the two of them. I struggle to remember how close these two are on the track. Yeah, obviously we can see us right in front of each other, but as far as the racing terms go, I don't recall them battling before. So this one's intriguing, isn't it? We often saw them last season, sort of a few cars apart, never together. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, usually Aaron has the advantage over Dean. Dean now joined for H2M, so you can see him part of that team. I'm not sure. Was he teammates with Daniel Lee last season? Because they're teammates now, but I don't recall them being teammates last season. I seem to remember Lee was a privateer.
Yeah, he raced for Daniel Lee Motorsports, I think, as we saw Becker spin round in front of us while he was on the onboard. Let's just see what happens here. He comes down into the final chicane. Oh, he just drops it.
That was what Corona did last season, wasn't it?
It was. Oh, he does the right thing though, doesn't he? Just waits for the car to go past and reverses it off the track. Sensible driving. Always good to see when people are mindful of what's going on around them. But a shame for Becker.
It is a shame for Becker. Honestly, I've ruined because I can't think of anything but puns now when I see Andrew Becker's name. Oh, that's a fake typo, isn't it? Just ahead of them. 4 of them, Powell, Salt and Lee. Very close to one another. Aaron Powell now at the front of this train. Salt and Lee, who, I mean, once again, we've said this a few times so far today, where drivers have been too far down the order. I mean, that could easily be a battle for 3rd place. between Salt and Lee, but instead it's a battle for 20th place out here. Salt runs a little bit wide. That's really pushing it in terms of getting a slowdown potentially across this measured from the centre of the car, but no one quite knows what the proper track limit is, as we also see the positions getting Salt up 21 places. More than anyone else, bar Johnston, who's been under the radar, so in 30th place for Johnston. It was really impressive in race 1, I think, was Johnston, so it's surprised they started so far down. I wonder if we can just go back to that battle with Powell and Salt, because it was very close between now, although we've also got this one with Madsen just fending off Gordon, that's for 12th place. And meanwhile, Salt still behind Powell. In fact, Salt had a little bit of a... Salt was moving past, wasn't he? Salt was moving past Powell in 19th.
He was indeed. I'm just wondering, was it just me? Was it, Madsen's hood missing? We saw him spin round at tops, but I don't remember him actually hitting anything. Maybe that was just me.
Maybe he's got a little bit of a nick on his car. I've never used that one before.
Oh, what's that? Going off to the right-hand side. Our right-hand side, the driver's left, heading in towards the last chicane. There was two cars, side by side. You know, Brandon Warren, who we were used to seeing. Actually, he was the guy, the AM guy, who always put it on AM pole, didn't he, last season? He was way out in front, but could never really get the races together. Oh, and he's just been collected by the Evo SR car on the outside. I'm not sure who that was, but that's big into the wall for Warren. Oh, that was Tom McMahon. God, he's had some issues this race, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really has, hasn't he? By the way, Warren wasn't good in qualifying last season. He was notoriously not good in qualifying, and would afterwards move loads of places up the grid. But once again, the car's getting merged into one. Seriously, this is a big issue for Marius. I thought it was just the new damage model, but maybe it's more than that, because we've seen that in TCRs. I say every time I teach stewarding, every week there's always one of them where two cars are bump drafting and then they get merged within one another.
I don't know what you mean.
We saw a very comical one in the GT4 cars the other day in Digital Motorsports Championship, and also saw one. I saw a Formula 3 one as well at Monza, which was very comical as well. That one wasn't quite so bad, the one that we just saw, but it's still an issue that I think iRacing needs to resolve quite soon. We're back now with Andriansen, who remember crashed pretty much before the season even started. He went into the pit wall at the start of race 1, but he's up 15 places now. Is Adrianson. He's gained a lot of places. Been very consistent out there. And a relatively clean car. Now I'm liking that livery as well. It's a bit basic, but I like the idea of it. Dare I say, I think Gold Racing Team might need to take that to court, to be honest, because they are quite similar.
They are indeed. Just on the topic of that, by the way, Johnston's car. It's good to see. We're just seeing an onboard with Powell here, Dean Powell. What's happened here? Oh, he just lost the rear on the downshift. Fortunately for him, he slid out to the outside and didn't get collected. But again, we've said it before, it's so easy to do. But yes, Edwards has had issues.
Oh, he was going to be second highest point scorer today was Taj Edwards, but he's had an off. This was Gordon. Oh, this was a bit earlier on, I think. No, I think it was near the right time. I can't see this one, unfortunately.
Oh, no, it just snapped on him coming down into Stowe. It done the typical mid-engine thing where you think you got it all nicely hooked up to the apex, and then it just flings you to the outside for no reason. Very unfortunate for him there. But yeah, as I was going to say, Johnston in his car, it's good to see the old Simmortal livery, the old one that they run for quite some time, the grey and the highlights on it. I do like that, so it's good to see that on track. as we're on board with Eichenberg now. He just seems to have driven away from Broomfield. Now that's surprising. We know how similar they are on pace, but as you can see, lap by lap, he's relentless.
Eichenberg has got. Oh, I can't find. Oh, where is he? I can't find him on the list. I've got the overlay on top of. Oh, actually, is that him? No, no, it's not. Oh, I'm just trying to find how many incidents he's got because I feel like he might have 0 incidents potentially because he has been so comfortable out in the lead. I mean, if you get 0 incidents, you get a bonus point. By the way. So that would put him on 61 points for a single round, a perfect score, and of course a third place as well for race 1. He is looking very good. It's the BMW driver will be comfortably in lead of the championship. Of course, do you get a drop round to these drivers during the season, but you really don't want your first round to be the drop round because there's a lot of pressure on you for the rest of the season. Mark Johnston, I think, is now ahead of Jeffrey Garzotto. There's the battle for 9th, and there's a big move there from Johnston. He's up 21 places now. Is Mark. Drive Doctors Racing, Privateer. He is Johnston. However, Garzotto coming back, and you can see a massive gap they got behind, and that's fortunate because Johnston's off the circuit. Fortunately, won't lose any places, I think, there, although it's going to be pretty marginal as we go and get a replay of this one. Johnston looked as though he had the momentum, he was going to be able to get past, but back came Garzotto with quite a shallow entry, and that was difficult to call.
I think Garzotto just snatched a break not once but twice there, and it just meant that he couldn't get it slowed down for the apex. Always dangerous there, isn't it? Taking such a shallow entrance, you're going to have issues. But yeah, unfortunate for the pair of them. I'm sure neither of them wanted it to pan out like that.
So in 13th place is Nick Madsen. At the moment, there's Max Wolf in third place, top of the amateur drivers as well. Max Wolf, like I said earlier, remarkably low I rates for Max Wolf, and yet he is faster than the two racers. Maybe he's driving a bit too fast. Maybe he's going to have to be promoted to the pro because he has been so impressive so far today. So too of Douglas and Civi Savage, who fell out of the podium in the amateur category, 3 of the top 6 amateur drivers, which is quite some accomplishment. And you can see how this gap has come down a bit, not a whole lot. No move, I think, imminent between these two drivers. Madsen's under big pressure at the moment from Joseph Saul. That is the battle for 13th place. We've also got Chambers versus Stevens, Powell versus Salt, and Lee versus Becker. Are the main battles that are going on. Not too many battles really far down the order, to be honest. Most of the drivers outside the top 20 are quite spread out. Top 36 are still on the lead lap, which kind of shows the good attrition rate we've had so far in today's race. It's Tretsider, and he's gone off at Chapel, and that is a strange incident there. Or was it Edwards? It may have been Edwards. Ooh.
I do wonder if that's just the case of his tyres are getting a little bit old. We know how competitive this field is, and you're never really too far away from a battle. So, you know, a 40-minute race really pushes your tyres to the limit. Especially with the update recently from iRacing, where they have deliberately tried to limit the lifespan on tyres to stop double and specifically triple stinting in the big events. So I wonder if he's just getting a bit older.
Rounds is the Ferrari. Oh, and he's gone into his teammate Salt with nowhere to go. He's gone into Aaron Powell. Dearie me. The two Evo SR cars getting into one another. Powell losing it by himself. And yeah, like I said, the Porsche was nowhere to go.
Looked very clumsy. I'm sure he was screaming down the phone, wasn't he? I'm stuck, don't hit me. But yeah, Salt just nowhere to go. The car on his outside, couldn't move, and unfortunately for the two of them, although rather comically, they did collide.
Don't think will there be much damage with them? Seems to be alright for the pair. So should be able to finish the race at least. Oh, that's Salt gone back to the pits, perhaps. Yeah, he has gone back to the pits, Salt. So might not score points. We've got 2 more laps to go, including the one that was just started. One more to go after this one. As Wayne Douglas is under massive pressure now from Civi Tabo. We've seen this gap gradually drop down by, on average, about a tenth of a second for the past 9 laps, and it's gone from 1 second to 1/10 of a second. There it is, very consistent. It has. Oh, sorry, that's yeah, the battle just ahead. But yeah, there is Civi Tabo closing in, and very much within passing range now.
They are fighting for a very prestigious position as well on my notepad. The way I lay my notepad out, the top 5 overall get their own little column. So yeah, they are fighting over the last spot on there, which is an absolute honour for anyone who manages to to get there. I do want to say as well, by the way, last season we were very used to seeing in these races how the pros would usually get to the front and the AMs would be behind. We commented many times, didn't we, on the split of the colours down on the timing tower, how OCD friendly it was. But this season you can really see the depth of talent that we've got and the competitiveness already. How jumbled up it still is after nearly 40 minutes in the first feature race.
Yeah, it's remarkable how close the order is this season, and yes, it's difficult to judge these amateur drivers because there you can see the top 4 in the amateur class. I think all didn't take part last season. Wolf and Vysokopsika are currently going side by side. Wolf has come back against Vysokopsika as here they are. Wolf around the outside, but in the Auto Sports white. And Vysokopsika just about maintain this 1-2-3 for Gold Racing team, but it's not easy at the moment. After passing him a long while, sorry, that was actually a pass on that lap for Vysokopsika. They're moving up into a 3rd position. Oh, he's into the second back, but now just ahead. Here comes Wolf again, the Dutch driver diving down the inside. There's a little bit of movement in the braking zone, and there's sure going to be contact between the 2 of them. But credit there to the Gold Racing team driver. He opened up the steering just to give a bit of room after being very tight into the braking area. Now that they're almost making contact again, and off the circuit goes Vysokopsika, and Wolf is ahead as Vysokopsika comes onto the circuit very dangerously, and he was very fortunate not to make contact. But it's Wolf who moves back up into the podium places on this final lap.
That was very brave driving from Wolf. Vysokopsika was just pushing that a little bit too hard, I feel, but done the right thing in the end, gave the room that was required, and managed to keep the car from any significant damage. And Wolf, what a drive from the amateur, battling out for P3, and so far, as we go on to this last lap, is coming out as on top.
So yeah, here we are on the final lap of the race. Dennis Eifenberg with a 4-second lead. He opened up that gap significantly in the first few laps once he got into the lead. And since then, he's just been able to maintain it. But what a start of the season this is for Gold Racing team. They may well occupy the first 2 or 3 places in the championship once this round is concluded. But no doubt who will be at the top. Because after scoring a 3rd position in race 1, Dennis Eifenberg from 11th place on the grid is going to convert a race win for race 2. It's going to be his 3rd race victory in the Apex Racing League GT Championship. Dennis Eifenberg wins at Silverstone. A sensational day for him to start off this season 2 of the championship. Max Wolf will finish on the podium. It's rare that we see an amateur driver on the podium, but that's a phenomenal drive from him. Vysokopsika in 4th. Civi Savo beat Douglas. He got past him in the late stages and finishes in 5th place, but it's a good result for the pair of them on their first ever meeting in this championship. Tom Stevens and Mark Johnston's battling between one another. Johnston after a remarkable start. Oh, contact! And Johnston's off. I think he tried to turn in a little bit too early. Now gets back going again, gets the power down in that Porsche, so he won't lose too many places. But shame for a little bit of a shame for the end of that race for Johnston after gaining some 21 places at one point. He was up into the top 9 finishes in 15. And so I've got this one, Kittelman versus Jacquelette. Sorry, this is Chesida versus Kittelman. Trying to hold on to 28th place, and well, I believe 1 point would be the difference for these positions. Chesida drives it in deep. He's massively overdrained that one, and the 233 car will have to concede. Kevin Kittelman finishes in 28th place for Indy Autosport. So, Adam, that's the first round of the championship pretty much complete. And, well, what a round of the championship. That's one of the best meetings I think we've seen for a long time. And it was remarkable how clean the racing was. I mean, that's a little bit of a curse for the rest of the season, but particularly on lap one, the drivers did a remarkably good job at not making too much contact. And race one, we had only one retiree. Race two, we had maybe 5 or 6, but generally, very good race car from everyone.
Oh, it's good to be back, isn't it? I miss this. It's only a couple of weeks between the seasons, but boy, did I miss this racing. Some drivers push their luck a little bit. We see Visa Kopsika on that the penultimate lap there, just really almost at the point of taking liberties with how much movement he can make in a braking zone. But again, we've seen it so many times. They somehow manage to sort themselves out. Somehow manage to keep the cars on the track in the most part. And yeah, what a brilliant race that was.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrific. And yeah, well, I'd say it again, Gold Racing Team, the guys to beat, the reigning team's champions, and no doubt they are the favourites for the championship after this opening round of the season. Just wondering if everyone has crossed the line. Yeah, seems like everyone has. Awesome. So we should be able to go through the final results then. Dennis Eifenberg wins uh, his first race win of the season, but I mean, it's race two. Stephen Broomfield, it's a 1-2 for Gold Racing Team BMW. They are, yeah, a great result for them. Max Wolf, third place. That's Indy Autosport's first ever podium in this race, so congrats to them. And I will ask Adam in a second. I'll let him rustle through his notebook now, just to ask if an Am driver's ever been on the podium steps before. We'll find that out in a second. Make Vysokopsika finishes in fourth place, just being beaten by Wolf in the end. Daniel Silvi Sabo finishes in fifth, there's Wayne Douglas. Bob Humphrey, very quiet in seventh place, but a seventh and a 10th for Humphrey, just doing what he does best at those consistent results. James Holman, great debut for him in eighth. There's Jeffrey Garzotto, John Gordon rounds out the top 10. John Derrick, Nick Madsen, Joseph Saul, Tom Stevens, Mark Johnston, Matty Chambers, Daniel Lee, Kev Copeland, Jensen Adrianson, Copeland Adrianson, by the way, 18 and 19 places game. Really well done to them. And Taj Edwards rounds out the top 20. What could have been for Edwards? Aaron Powell's in 21st. There's Dean Powell, Mike Horder, David Nichols, Luke Kidsley, J.M. Cormier, Luke Euler, Kevin Kittelman, John Chesida, Carl Yacolet, Andre McCullen, Craig Jones, Brandon Warren, Ryan Jones was 1 lap down, so we'll score points for Jones. However, the retirees 2 laps or more down were Andrew Becker, James Salt, Tom McMahon, Nick Rowland, Adrian Campfield, and Derek Holland. A couple of heavy hitters in there, particularly Salt, McMahon, and Rowland. Very good drivers there. An awful round for Rowland. Hope to see him back doing better next week at a circuit I can't even remember. It's Barcelona. Oh, it's not a great track. I did choose a schedule, but you know it's in ILMS, so that's it. Adam, has there ever been a amateur driver on the podium?
Le Mans race 2, Bob Humphrey
Ooh.
finished third.
So who finished third?
Bob Humphrey.
Rob Humphrey. There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. So we will have interviews now. I want to have a chat with Tom McMahon actually first because he did win after all. Race one did Tom didn't quite go his way in race two, but Tom, congratulations out there. We'll focus on the good to start off with. Your pace just seemed to be phenomenal today. In practice, you were like 3/10 clear. You take pole position. You get second place on the grid at least after holding pole for a while. Then you take the lead in race one, and then after that, it was all quite nice. Must have been a lovely drive for you.
Oh, lovely would be a bit extreme. It was so intense. That was one of the best races I've had in ages between myself, Taj, and Dennis. I just couldn't make a mistake. One mistake and Taj was through, and I managed to hold on to it. So that was really cool. Yeah, sorry for the late swaps of cars. Just found the Porsche a little bit more consistent, so that was cool. Uh, race two was race two.
Yes, you'll notice, Tom, how I started not even replying to your messages of changing cars because honestly, we don't have all day. But we have race two, of course, was pretty bad for you, as you say. Take us through what happened because the start looked really fun. It looked like it was going to be such a fun race. You were chasing down Dennis. You're both escalating through the order, and then you have a bit of a collision down the start finish straight.
So, well, the mindset was finish the race. Just be safe, finish the race, try and be consistent. My goal is to try and fight for the championship, so I want to be consistent. Um, and then I think it was just one of those. I was going around the outside of someone going onto the start finish straight. I knew it was a bit risky, but I saw Dennis got through, so I wanted to follow him relatively closely. And it was just one of the things I didn't feel I had any room and had to come back onto the track eventually. I think the other car, I don't know who it was, just touched my rear right corner, and that luckily I didn't hit the wall. So then I carried on, rejoined I think like 20th, and then was having a good fight with Nick, Roland, and Tom Stevens, and Nick just lost the car onto the Wellington Straight and kind of torpedoed us both into the wall. Then I came out because I was like, no, keep going. So because I wanted to get some points and I wasn't sure if I could, even if I finished like 37th, it might be something. So I was unlapping myself against some slower guys, and I went round the outside and personally didn't feel like there was a lot of space left there because I was catching it 2 or 3 seconds a lap, but I apologise if from their perspective I was interfering with their race. But yeah, not the best race too, but maybe that'll be a drop round and we can press on.
Yeah, hopefully so. In the teams championship, that must be something that you're going for as well. You are in a team with. Give me a minute. Don't correct me here. I will. No, who are you in a team with?
I'm
I
with James Salt
Oh,
and Aaron
sorry.
Powell.
Of course you are. I was literally looking at it, and I'm an absolute idiot. But yeah, Salts and Pal. That's a good team, you three. But Gold Racing Team do seem very strong. I mean, how do you rate your chance of taking on those guys?
I think as a team, we just need to be a little bit more consistent. I think the pace across the whole pack was separated by I think what 6, 7 tenths in qualifying. It was something ridiculous. So just tidy up on executing through qualifying, and then yeah, just try to pick up battles a little bit better. I know certain tracks I think will favour different drivers. So we'll see. I I'll always back our guys, and we'll see how we go. But it'll be tough. Dennis is always super quick, and I think it's his team with Stephen and Mike, I believe.
Stephen and John.
Oh, okay. And then you've obviously got Taj Edwards in the other gold race. Though there's so much talent in this series, so we'll give it a good go and see how we go.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations today, Tom, on that race win. It was really great to see you back on the top step of the podium again. Is there anyone you'd like to see thank before we say goodbye?
Just the Evo SR guys for all the practice we put in. We put in a good amount, so we'll go for that again next week. And you guys for an awesome broadcast, which I look forward to watching a bit later on.
Awesome. Thanks for having a chat with us, Tom. And don't change your car, please. Please.
Will do. Cheers, guys.
Tom McMahon there for Evo SR, winner of race 1, didn't finish race 2. Adam, who are we going to have a chat with next?
I wanted to have a little chat with our friend Dennis Eipenberg, who, after having a moment last season, saying, "Well, I'm not particularly great at this track," and then went on to have a brilliant race 2, he's gone from strength to strength, finishing third in race 1 tonight and winning race 2. Dennis, talk us through it.
First and foremost, are we friends now? That's good.
Well, I don't dislike you, so that's something.
Okay, cool. Silverstone is actually one of the tracks I do like. It is Spa that I dislike a lot. I did a couple of ILMS races. I got very nervous yesterday in the 6-hour endurance race because my wheel, either my wheel or my wheelbase, stopped working 3 laps in. So it worked fine again after the reset, but through the entire race I was nervous, or both races actually. I was just very nervous, hoping that my wheel would actually get me to the end. And what do you know? In race 2, it was actually Taj's wheel that that stopped working because he was well on track on getting his second place. So yeah, but yeah, first race really good, really fun. It was Taj and Tom were just. I had enough pace to actually keep up with them, but I never had enough pace to actually make a move somewhere unless either one of them would ever make a mistake somewhere. So I was happy to actually keep up with them and get third. And yeah, the second race I managed to get through the field quite easily. Tom was in my tracks for the better part of getting through the field, which got me a little bit nervous because well, he's very quick. So when he disappeared, I was actually just I think I noticed it a couple of laps later when I was already on my teammate Steven's rear. And once I got past Steven, it was just yeah, breezing and going to the end and hoping that that everything would stay in one piece.
Obviously, you're teammates with Stephen, so that makes for an interesting conversation in your comms, I guess. How did you kind of engineer it? Was it a predetermined move? Did you say, well, look, I think I'm a bit quicker. Let's go for it, or was it just gloves off? Let's have a scrap and see where we end up.
No, as soon as I got on his tail, he said, "Take me on the back straight. If we're side by side before that the corner afterwards, I'm gonna let you lift off and let you have it." Nothing was predetermined before the race, but as soon as I got there, he lifted for me.
Oh, well, funny you say that. That's kind of how we called it at the time as well. It did look like it was a choreographed move, shall we say. Now,
Yeah,
obviously, from the team's point of view, you've scored some mega points tonight. How are you feeling confidence-wise going into the rest of the season? You think you got enough to take the championship?
we'll see. I mean, the Evo SR guys, they are very quick as well. Surely they're going to have some amazing races to come. Today was ours, but who knows what's going to come in the next couple of weeks? But they've got some really good pace, those guys. So it's going to be tight.
I think that's what we're looking forward to, seeing a good scrap for the rest of the season. Dennis, it's been a pleasure to speak to you as always.
And
is
you?
there anyone you want to give shout-outs to or thank?
I mean, obviously my team, Gold Racing Team, but in particular John Gordon. John Gordon arranged some new liveries for us for the season, which we all think look amazing, and we're very happy. So tonight, a special thanks goes out to John Gordon.
As a livery lover, I do like how you've got the chrome GWT on the side, or GRC, sorry. Dennis, like I said, pleasure to speak with you. We'll see you next week in Barcelona.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
So I got one more interview to go, and I've just whilst we were having that interview, and I think I've made some good puns today. Let's
No, you
not lie.
haven't.
We're
No, you
not
haven't.
going. There's no question about that. However, I was thinking, who's Daniel Lee like? Because he's fantastic at qualifying. Jarno Trulli. Daniel True Lee is what I baptize you, Daniel, in the Apex Racing League world. Welcome to the commentary booth, Daniel.
So I'm done. I'm out. See you later.
Yeah, I think I'll quit now. That's all I need to hear.
But like I said, very good in qualifying. It was what a qualifying it was. A third place, I think, on the grid.
Pretty good, successful qualifying. Better than I expected, given, however, however many people seem to be putting in better practice laps, but still, that was good. But typically, race one and me just don't get on. So I bowled it. Nick Marsden passed me fair and square, and then I outbraked myself and tapped him. There must have been only a millimetre or two margin in it. It really was so close, but nonetheless, I went round, he went round, and that wasn't a very good incident, and it just went downhill from there. So race one can be explained by just completely bottling it, slowdowns, stop and go penalty, the whole shebang. It really was a disaster.
But race 2 was much better. I'm saying you went from 34th up into 17th. I mean, we didn't see a whole lot of it, but I guess that would have been a lot of fun because you're used to having to defend from a lot of gyros, but in that one it was all out attack.
Yeah, it was good. Sadly, race two in lap two saw a bit of a incident up ahead, which involved maybe about 7 or 8 cars. In that incident, I went off track to avoid it, but I can't say I've rehearsed coming back on track very much. Nobody does. So the way I came back on track was atrocious, and I must apologise to Derek Holland if he's listening, because he was a victim of me coming back on track and basically T-boning him. So the rest of the race two was spent with real bad aero damage, causing about a lap per, sorry, not a lap per lap, 1 second per lap in terms of aero loss in the straights. In the corners, though, it felt good, and it was driving as if there was nothing wrong, but I just couldn't pass anybody, and I was getting sniped on the straight by anybody who cared to try. So race two was good, but it could have been an even better result than that if I'd have somehow managed to not come on track like a dog's dinner. So apologies to Derek Holland for that, and Nick Madsden in the first race.
Of course, you're now driving for h2mengineering.co.uk. What is H2 Mengineering, and how did you get in contact with Dean Powell to form a team?
I must say, it makes a lot more sense when you read it as H2M engineering.
That's not going to
Otherwise,
happen. Sorry.
I would also be wondering what the heck engineering is. I probably wouldn't want to know. H2M is a
Don't Google
is a
it.
good powers company. Yeah, don't do that. Don't Google it. It takes you down a dark road. H2M Engineering is a pals company, and we race for fun. And it's out of all of us, his company is probably the most marketable of the lot. Nobody else can really benefit from any exposure. So what exposure there is deserves to go to him. They're a nice bunch, and he's very good at what he does. But if I was H2M engineering, I probably wouldn't want my name attached to that sad performance. So maybe round two will be a lot better.
Well, it was certainly a lot of fun. You gained a lot of play, a lot of overtakes out there, so I think you should be very pleased with that one. Next round of the championship is Barcelona. You like that track?
Love it. Yeah, one of my favourites for sure. I'm going to be hoping to just avoid the trouble and put in a really good.
Awesome. Well, before we say goodbye, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
No shout outs, just apologies for Derek Holland for somehow T-boning him when I got back on track, and Nick Madsen being the first race of the league. I don't want him to think that this is normal. But round one, everybody's come back. It's like the first day of school. It's a bit rough. So keep on it. Round two in Barcelona will be loads better. So there you go.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Daniel, and hope to see you back next week.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So that was Daniel Lee there for h2mengineering.co.uk. I think we might actually have one more interview, Adam, if we can quickly fit one in with Max Wolf. Here he is.
Hello.
We can have a chat with Max. Hi, Max. Welcome to the championship. Not a bad night for you, was it? 6th overall and second in the AMS race 1. And
I don't think I can complain.
3rd overall in race 2 and winner of the AMS. How does it feel to hit the ground running like you did?
I wasn't expecting this at all. Like I was talking to my team with Kevin and stuff, and Derek, who raced the previous year. They were like, "Oh, it's pretty good fun, but just expect a bit of midfield running because like I expected it for myself at least. Like I'm not the best driver there is." But then I got into the practice session and things went surprisingly well, and then I got lucky and carried the momentum through to the races. and it's just a great feeling. I was really shouting here in my home, so.
Oh, glad to hear it. Means a lot to you for doing well in these races. Like I
Yeah.
say, you are new to the series. How have you found it? How have you what's your first impressions of the series?
Well, first of all, it's really good fun because the racing is like really good. I had good battles in the last lap with Wiese Kopseker. That's how I tried it. But it was really good fun, really good battles, fair racing. So I'm having a lot of fun here.
Good to hear. We're at Barcelona next week. How do you like that?
Well, to be honest, I haven't practiced the track yet. Never driven it. Need to buy it. So I'm curious.
Well, let's hope you have another week similar to this one. Like I say, you had a sterling week this week, and brilliant to see a new driver to the championship doing so well. This one's going to be short and sweet, unfortunately. But before we let you go,
Right.
is there anyone that you'd like to shout out to or give thanks to?
Well, I would like to shout out my good friend Danny Zivizabo. I tried it to pronounce it. I'm really bad with names, but yeah, we practiced a lot here, and he gave me some good tips on how to drive it. So that was really helpful. And just like the whole of Indy Autosport, like the guys have been super helpful with making little setup changes and stuff, and just helping each other with the lines. It's a great team.
Also, I do actually have a bone to pick with your painter because you're in the Autosport white, but all I can see is black and green on your car.
Yeah.
We'll have
We
to
were
have a
having a
word with
bit of
your
fun,
livery
and
designer.
yeah. What did you say?
I said we'll have to have a word with your livery designer.
You need to speak to Drew. He made the paints. Like we
well,
were having a bit of fun, so
awesome.
that's
Well,
what it's all about.
no, that's the main thing. Well, it's been a pleasure to speak to you, Max. Once again,
Same
welcome to
here.
the championship and well done for tonight. And
Thank
we'll see you next week in Barcelona.
All right, see you next week.
Max Wolf there with a podium to end his debut as an amateur driver. Not sure how long he's going to be an amateur driver for though. Adam, like I said earlier on, fantastic meeting. Next up we got Barcelona. Kind of similar circuit to this, I guess. You know, a lot of fast sweepers. I guess a couple of slow speed corners as well. And it's like we haven't visited it in this series before either, so hopefully it'll be good. Often races around there in real life and on sim racing aren't very fun, but I doubt that's going to be the case next week.
It's a very Marmite track, isn't it? Unfortunately, but you hit the nail on the head. The drivers that we've got on the grid at the moment, they will make it an interesting race. They can race around a scale electric track and they'll make it interesting. So yeah, despite it being Barcelona, I'm really looking forward to it.
I don't know what you have against Scale Electric. Scale Electric is it's fantastic. Not as good as Marble Racing, but it's one of the top 4 of motorsports. Nothing beats Marbula E. Honestly, round 3 of Marbula E. I swear, if that doesn't come out in the next couple of days, I'm going to go mad. Can't wait for that. Anyway, don't watch that. Watch the next round of the Apex Racing League GT Championship, because that will be back next week, same time, from Barcelona for round 2 of the season. There's loads of other stuff coming up on Apex Racing TV though, so subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and you can check out everything that is coming up. Plenty of which features real life drivers. Certainly tomorrow it will be delayed. Actually, if anyone's got BT Sport, watch BT Sport tomorrow, because we'll be broadcasting on BT Sport, which is pretty cool, ain't it? And then give a like on the video, which will be uploaded soon after on our YouTube channel. But that'll be pretty awesome. That will be the Isolation series featuring Lando Norris, potentially, amongst many other very famous drivers. So hopefully you check out that. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's broadcast, and hopefully we'll see you back very soon. But for now, from me, from Adam, from Alex, and from Andrew, we are going to say goodbye, and we will see you next time.